Heart of Courage, The Legend of Kiran and the Shadowfang.
As time passed, Kiran's name became legend, but his message endured. And so, the world remembered a simple boy who dared to face the darkness, proving that the greatest treasure of all is a brave heart that lights the way for others. The villagers honored Kiran with a great celebration each year, where they shared stories of their own brave acts. They built a monument at the base of the mountain, inscribed with the words, "The brave wins, for they dare to try." Even as Kiran grew older, his spirit remained undaunted. He often returned to the mountains, not to seek treasure, but to remind himself of the journey. And though the Shadowfang never appeared to him again, its lessons echoed in his heart. He knew that the greatest battles were not fought with swords or staffs, but within the chambers of the soul. Over the years, Kiran's story inspired countless others. Some sought the treasure, only to realize it was never about riches. Others found their own Shadowfangs, learning to confront the fears that held them back. Kiran's tale became a movement, spreading the message that bravery was not reserved for the few, but a birthright of all who dared to believe. Together, they ascended the mountains, facing the same treacherous paths Kiran had once traveled. Along the way, Kiran taught Ashwin how to confront his fears. When they reached the cave, Ashwin hesitated at the entrance. "What if I'm not strong enough?" he asked. "Strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges," Kiran said. "It comes from facing them." Ashwin stepped inside, and though he did not encounter the Shadowfang, he emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. The journey taught him that courage is not a one-time act, but a way of living. One such visitor was a merchant named Ashwin, who had grown weary of life's uncertainties. Ashwin shared his struggles with Kiran, a failing business, a family's fading hope, and an ever-growing fear of the unknown. Kiran listened intently, and then invited Ashwin to accompany him on another journey into the mountains. "But the Shadowfang is gone, isn't it?" Ashwin asked. "The Shadowfang was never just a creature," Kiran replied. "It was the embodiment of our fears. And fears, my friend, are never truly gone. They only change shape." As Kiran became a symbol of courage in his village, others began seeking him out, hoping to learn his secret. He often repeated his mantra, "The brave wins not by overpowering others, but by mastering their own fears." Soon, the one small village transformed into a hub of hope, where travelers from distant lands came to hear the story firsthand. Kiran didn't bring back gold or riches, but he returned with a story that inspired his entire village. He taught them that bravery isn't about being fearless, but about standing tall in the face of fear. From that day on, Kiran became a symbol of courage, proving that the brave truly win not through power or wealth, but through the strength to conquer their own doubts. And so, the legend of Kiran and the Shadowfang spread far and wide, reminding everyone who heard it that the greatest treasure of all is a brave heart. The Shadowfang let out a low rumble, which Kiran realized was laughter. "Well said, young one," it replied. "The treasure you seek is not gold or jewels. It is the courage to face life's challenges without faltering. You have already found it." With that, the creature vanished, leaving behind a glowing orb of light. Kiran touched it, and a warmth spread through him, filling him with a sense of unshakable confidence. When he emerged from the cave, the villagers were waiting, their faces a mix of relief and astonishment. "Why have you come here, little one?" it asked. Kiran swallowed his fear and replied, "I seek the treasure you guard. But more than that, I seek to prove that fear can be overcome." The Shadowfang tilted its massive head, as if considering the boy's words. "Many have come before you," it said. "They sought wealth and power, but they lacked the bravery to face their own shadows. What makes you different?" Kiran took a deep breath. "I don't fear you," he said. "Not because I'm stronger or smarter, but because I've learned that bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to face it." Deep within the cave, he found the Shadowfang. The creature was enormous, its eyes glowing like molten gold in the darkness. Its fur shimmered with an otherworldly light, and its claws looked sharp enough to tear through stone. Kiran's hands trembled as he gripped his staff. But instead of attacking, the Shadowfang spoke in a deep, resonant voice. Finally, after days of relentless climbing, Kiran reached the mouth of a dark cave. The entrance was ominous, with jagged rocks forming what looked like the gaping maw of a beast. Kiran's heart pounded, but he stepped inside. The cave was eerily silent, save for the occasional drip of water echoing through its depths. He walked cautiously, the dim light of his torch casting dancing shadows on the walls. The journey was grueling. The mountain trails were steep and fraught with danger. Wild beasts lurked in the shadows, and the biting wind seemed determined to drive him back. Yet, Kiran pressed on, his mind focused on his goal. Days turned into nights, and the nights were lonelier than he had imagined. But every time doubt crept into his heart, he reminded himself of why he had started. One chilly morning, as the first rays of sunlight kissed the mountain peaks, Kiran decided it was time. Armed with nothing but a wooden staff, a small pouch of food, and the determination in his heart, he set out for the mountains. The villagers tried to dissuade him. "Why risk your life for a legend?" they asked. But Kiran's reply was simple, because legends are born from courage. Kiran, however, was different. He often sat by the village elder, listening to the tales of those who had dared to seek the treasure. Each story ended in tragedy, but it also sparked a fire in Kiran. To him, the treasure was not just gold or jewels, it was the symbol of conquering fear itself. The village was surrounded by tales of a mysterious creature that lived in the heart of the mountains. The creature, known as the Shadowfang, was said to guard a treasure so magnificent that anyone who beheld it would never know poverty or sorrow again. But the Shadowfang was also a creature of fearsome power, and many who ventured into its lair never returned. Over time, the villagers stopped dreaming of the treasure, preferring to live in the safety of their routines. In a small village nestled at the foot of the Great Azure Mountains, there lived a boy named Kiran. He was neither the strongest nor the smartest among his peers, but he had one quality that set him apart, an unshakable courage. This courage was not the kind that boasted loudly, but the quiet kind that refused to back down in the face of adversity.